All right, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GM Master rules well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Aina. The title of this video is The Nations Are Being Gathered. And as you can see, got a camera, and it has a mic attached to it. It has a light on there. So it allows me to, see if the camera is on and off and if it's working. So I'm able to, Lord willing, switch pages on a full screen and you guys can see it. So basically in this lesson, I'm beginning to this article here. It says, Finland's president, North Korean troops, and Ukraine would signal Russian despair. And basically Finland is a border state to Russia, just like Ukraine is a border state to Russia. And that's pretty much why the war in Ukraine is happening, because Russia didn't want Ukraine to join NATO, but in the midst of them at war, because of this fact, Finland, joined, which is also, a border state to Russia, meaning that America is still, in the back door of Russia, which they were trying to prevent. So whatever the case is, that's what it is. It says Finland's president, North Korean troops in Ukraine will signal Russian despair. So basically North Korea is sending troops also to Russia to help aid in the war. And this is all the nations being gathered over there in the, the Levant region, the Valley of Jehoshaphat, pretty much, is what it's boiling down to. There's talks of war everywhere throughout, news, so let's get some of this article here. This is Berlin, October 22nd, which is currently October 22nd. Right? It says the deployment of North Korean troops in Ukraine would be a sign of Russian desperation more than 2.5 years into its full-scale invasion of its neighbor. Finland's President Alexander Stubb told Reuters on Tuesday. Officials in Ukraine and South Korea have accused North Korea of dispatching troops, estimated to number in the thousands perhaps, to aid Russia in the war in Ukraine. So South Korea's spy agency said last week that North Korea had shipped 1,500 special forces troops to Russia's Far East for training and acclimating at military bases, and they were likely to be deployed for combat in Ukraine. So basically, North Korea sent troops over to, for training in Russia, and most likely they're saying that they're going to be deployed for combat in Ukraine. So it says the Kremlin has declined to directly answer a query on whether North Korean troops were going to fight in Ukraine. We're just seeing how desperate Russia is, Stubb said during a visit to Berlin. So Stubb is, I believe, the guy, Finland's president. Its allies are not too many around this world. It relies on Iranian weapons. It relies on North Korean soldiers. How much worse can it get, he said. The deployment of North Korean troops would constitute an escalation of the conflict, said Stubb. Finland, which shares a border with Russia, joined NATO last year in a historic policy shift brought on by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Stubb, who will make a state visit to China on October 28th, said he would tell President Xi Jinping there could be no peace deal without Ukraine's involvement. He would urge China not to support Russia in any way, especially not with dual-use materials and goods that can be used for weapons. So basically now that they see that, now North Korea is going there, they're trying to prevent, I guess, China from also helping. So they're saying Russia's in despair, but they're trying to prevent China from also joining and helping Russia. And pretty much that's the article. The nations are being gathered, right? And they're trying to stop that by going to China and telling them this guy, one of these guys here, I believe it's him, maybe, Finland's president, is trying to go to China to convince them, of course, on behalf of Babylon the Great, USA, to not help Russia, basically. So, in the future, we'll see how that goes, but we know what the scriptures say, right? And once again, the title of this is The Nations Are Being Gathered. So basically, what is it? North Korea has entered into the battle, by sending in troops over there to Russia, basically, to train. They could be training for a future war or the war that's currently going on. So I'm gonna get a few scriptures. Of course, the doom of Babylon, because this is what this boils down to. If you go to Ezekiel 38, you have Gog and Magog, which I'll probably pull it up a little bit. So this is, Ezekiel 38, this is Gog and Magog. And when you get into that Gog and Magog and you go into the ancient maps, this is the land of Russia. And also in Revelations 20, which we'll get, USA, Babylon the Great, will come out of, basically a slavery period, being under, the so-called black man and the Byzantine Empire period to go out, deceive the nations and bring, war with Gog and Magog, which we'll get. So this is what all this is boiling down to. That's why you see presidents talking about I can stop World War III, or this president is leading us to World War III, or Israel is doing this and it's causing this. Everyone's talking about it because this is where we are, in time of prophecy, war, basically. And all that's going to boil into them trying to issue in, martial law, a way to save individuals through their MOTB, Jacob's trouble. All these things are at the door as these different things escalate around the world, because it can't go full nuclear until they issue out those MOTB devices, right? Which is the mark of the beast, going back to Revelations 13. So anyway, let's start with Ezekiel 38. It says, "And the word of the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog in the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him." Right, so Gog and Magog is the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, right? And that's just going into Turkey. Once again, if you get an ancient map and you search these things up, you can easily find them. So, the chief prince is the head. So Russia would be the head of these different nations, right? And that's why all these different nations are joining unto Russia, regarding BRICS and having strong ties and making strong ties now, right? As war and the conflicts, increase. It says, "And say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Basmiel Shai, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal." So the Most High Yahweh is still against these different nations, of course. But he used, different nations and people. I mean, the one scripture, the Most High Yahweh Basmiel Shai. Let me get my phone 1 second. So we have Daniel 4 and 17. This is Daniel 4 and 17. It says, "This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High Yahweh Basmiel Shai ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and set up over it the basis of men." Right, and that's why you have, basically Esau, Edom ruling. You can go Job 9 and 24, the earth was given to the hand of the wicked, right? So we currently have Esau, Edom ruling. Just the other scripture says Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, right? So the Most High Yahweh Basmiel Shai can use these different nations, to perform his will and his purposes. So just like he's going to use Gog and Magog to perform his will and his purposes, but he's still against them, because these are heathen. Right, and these are Edomites, actually, Russia, of course. It says, and say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Basmiel Shai, behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. It says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even the great company with bucklers and shield, all of them handling swords. And then it goes into Persia, which is Iran, Ethiopia, and Libya, those the African areas. It says with them, all of them with shield and helmet. So eventually, as the nations are being together, all these different individuals will be joined onto them. And even in the article, he mentioned that Russia is getting their weapons from Persia, which is Iran. So Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togomor of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. So many people are going to join unto Russia, in the coming war that will take place, which is World War III, which everyone in the news up, to your presidents are talking about it. So we are here. So that's the point with that. Let's get Revelations 20 to, basically precept that. So I'll just start at 1. Revelations 21, and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand, right? And this angel would be Yahushai, and having the keys to the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand is basically, a slavery, binding Satan, that old devil, Esau, Edom, to slavery, and that's going to that period that I was mentioning, that 1,000-year period where, during the Byzantine Empire, Esau was basically, under subjection, put down in slavery. So you get a precept for you. This is Revelations 1 and 18. We'll grab it real quick. All right, this is Revelation 1 and 18. It says, I am he that liveth and was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore, a man, and have the keys of hell and of death, right? So that's going to a precept with, what I just read in Revelation 20. Now, let me see. Isaiah 22 and 22, we'll grab that. It says, Isaiah 22 and 22, and the key of the house of David will I lay upon his shoulder, so he shall open and none shall shut, and he shall shut and none shall open. All right, so basically, the key to the house of David is going into, the key in Revelations 20, basically that angel being Yahushua and him having the key. And let me see if I got another precept for you. 3 and 8. Let me get Revelations 3 and 8. Revelations 3 and 7, it says, and to the angel of the church of Philadelphia write, these things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David, he that openeth and no man shutteth, and shutteth and no man openeth, right? And that's Yahushua. It says, I know thy works. Behold, let me get this right here. It says, I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it, for thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name. Right, so as you can see, it's Yahushua that has that key. All right, so going back to Revelations 20, it says, and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand, which represents that slavery. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up. And this bottomless pit is basically Europe, because, pit can be related to, land, basically landmass. And this bottomless pit is Europe because, if you look it up or anything, Europe is empty of, mineral resources, basically no matter how far you dig in the area of Europe, it's just empty of resources. It says, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him, that he should rec- that he should receive the nation. I'm sorry, that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loose a little season. Right. So Esau Edom, was not in rulership for 1,000 year period, and then after that 1,000 year period, he became loosed, and that is the period that we're in now, that little season. Right. That's what the scriptures say in Revelations 12:12. That he's going to come down with great wrath because he had but a short time. Right. And it hasn't been long. America hasn't been, established for a long time. It says Revelations 20:7, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. So as you can see, we went to Ezekiel 38. We got this information about Gog and Magog, basically preparing themselves for war. And now here in the last book of Revelations, we have Esau Edom, been loose from his prison sentence, to go out and get in the fatness of the earth, and rule, and to also deceive the nations. And he deceived them through his policy, right? The different laws and decrees that he has implemented here in Babylon. It says, Revelations 28, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. So there you go. And you can get 2nd Esdras chapter 13 to go on that. Them thinking that they're going to, basically destroy Yahushua. So anyway, moving on. Now this is the doom of Babylon. This is Revelation 17:1. It says, and there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Right, and this great whore is Babylon. Right, and the many waters are the people. And that's why you get Habakkuk. 2 and 5, it says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. It says, Revelation 17:2, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of fornication. Right, and that's basically, their different philosophies, their different policies, and basically them bringing in wickedness too to some of these different places, LGBTQ, all of those activities and just wickedness that they promote, basically destroying a woman, giving women's, rights, and these rights are leading to them doing, just things that they shouldn't do. You have the Transformers. All of these different things that they push out and give out to the world, allow them to do, It says, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns, right? And that's just pointing to their military, their governments, right? These different vassal states, that are joined unto them. It says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And that's why the scripture says Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, right? That's why, basically saying it's decked out with gold and precious stones, and it's so perfect. Basically with all the stuff that they have. It says, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, right? And that's going to the fact that, they did pursue the saints, us, we the Israelites. They killed us, through slavery, and just even today, statistically, so-called blacks are getting gunned down more, by cops and different things like that. And, our people are wicked at the end of the day, and a lot of times, the scriptures tell us how to operate, with our adversaries, we, respond quickly and things like that. And our people are so lost, they don't do these things and end up, them getting shot. But nonetheless, we're still dealing with the devil, right? Esau, Edom, so it says, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration, right? So, John the Revelator was, you know, wondering after this vision that he's seeing, like, wow, he says, and the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which have the 7 heads and 10 horns. Excuse me. It says, the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition, right? So it says the beast that was and is not. So you're going back to the Roman Empire. That's why it was and is not, because the Roman Empire fell, right? And it says they shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. So out of going back to that Europe, it shall come up out of the bottomless pit, basically going back into that 1,000-year period when it was, brought down. Basically, it says, and go into perdition, which is destruction, because pretty soon Babylon the Great will go into destruction, and that's going to that war. That's why the nations are being gathered, for war. It says, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not, and yet is, right? So basically, people will wonder, just like, John the Revelator was wondering, like, wow, it's so great. You have our own people that come here from these different places, like Puerto Rico and Haiti, different things. And they come here and it's like, it's so great for them that they can do basically pretty much anything they want to do. They can try to go out there and achieve all type of dreams, or whatnot. And especially if you're coming from places that may not be as great as Babylon, right? So Babylon is so great. It says right here, Babylon the Great, right? So it's great to be here. Babylon is a great place. So when you come from basically not being in a great place, when you come here, you're marveling, and you don't want to change, basically put on that new man or anything like that. So it says, and here is the mind which hath wisdom, the 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space, right? So once again, this is going to the governments, right? The different rulerships that have taken place. And basically, it says, and here is the wisdom, okay, the 7 heads, which are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth, right? So Babylon the Great sitteth upon these, different kingdoms, basically right now in this time, NATO, EU. But here in verse 10, it says there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. So in this vision, at the time the Roman Empire was ruling, so you have 5 are fallen. The 5 that are fallen, is the Greeks. You have the Spanish, Germanier Major, Germanier Minor, right? And then you have the French. So those are the different empires that fell. The 5, it says, and 1 is, and the one that's current ruling is Rome, and the other that it is net, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space, and that will be the British, because the British, America came out of the British, and that's why in verse 11 it says, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. So America came out of the British, and he's going into perdition, which is destruction, which is going to why the nations are being gathered now for war, because we're inching closer and closer to the last days, or the last day, the day of the Lord, right? It says, in the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, or received power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have 1 mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Right, so these different NATO, EU nations rule with Babylon the Great, right? And that's why right now, with all the conflicts going on between Israel, Ukraine, and Russia, basically you have NATO not entering into it, right? Because that's the next part. You have them basically sneakingly, sending troops. They're saying they're sending troops for evacuation purposes and different things they're saying, but they didn't say anything about, yeah, we're sending troops to directly war with you. Now, there was something recently that happened where America is sending troops and they're saying we're sending troops directly inside of Israel, so most likely they will be fighting because there's bombs and things being hit or sent to Israel. So, some of these American soldiers could get injured. So we'll just keep watching and report on it as soon as something happens. Now this is Revelation 17:14. It says, "These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful," right? And that's why we call ourselves the hopeful elect. And basically you go to 2 Esdras chapter 13, these individuals will make war with the Lamb, as in these NATO, EU nations, Babylon the Great, even Gog and Magog, because all these people will be gathered over there in the Levant region, which is Israel, for war, World War III. And then when Yahushua comes, they will all try to attack Yahushua, but it will not work. And Yahushua is going to redeem his elect, those that are called and chosen and faithful, right? And we'll see who those individuals are in that day when we're getting beamed up, Lord willing, right? It says, "And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire." Yeah. So basically, as you can see, the 10 horns that have given their strength unto the beast, right here it says, "And shall give their power and strength unto the beast." These same 10 horns that have one mind with the beast shall hate her. And we're seeing every day, different nations beginning to hate the beast, which is Babylon the Great, and it says, "Shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." So with all of that, the nations are being gathered and sides are being picked, where people are joining the enemies of Babylon the Great, that being Gog and Magog, Russia, and then eventually World War III will kick off, and then eventually it will go nuclear, and they will burn her with fire, which will be the nuclear warheads, created by Yahweh Bashar Shah. The scripture says, the Most High has created the smith, basically, that blow up the coals. Let me see, let me grab that. Okay. This is Isaiah 54:16. Let me grab it. It says, "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals and fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created a waster to destroy." Right, so that's what Yahweh Bashar Shah has done. Right, he have created, these men that have created these nuclear missiles to destroy, each other, basically. It says in verse 17 here, it says, "For Yahweh have put in their hearts to fulfill his will." And that's where we went into, the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. And he set them up to, whoever he pleases, basically, It says, "For Yahweh have put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of Yahweh shall be fulfilled." So pretty soon these individuals will just, give up on Babylon the Great when the Lord wills it. It says, "And the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth," right? And that is Babylon the Great. Everyone looks to Babylon the Great for answers. Everyone looks to USA for answers, especially now in this time with everything going on. People are calling on Babylon the Great, USA, to stop it, to just make peace. This is Joel 3:1. It says, "For behold, in those days, and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations, and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." Right? And that's why you have even now a conflict going on in Israel, where the land is parted between, different people, and they're fighting over it. But it's really and truly our land. And Yahushua is going to come and cleanse that land, for us. with nuclear missiles. That's why he's gathering the nations over there. This is Zephaniah 3 and 8. It says, therefore, wait ye upon me, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Shai, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdom, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. Right? And we just read in the scriptures where the Most High has created a smith, the waster to destroy. So, that's going to happen, Lord willing. You were edified from this lesson. I'll say shalom to those elect, which consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.